All right, step one, I'm going to pick out a color palette. I really like a lot of these online color palette generating tools. This one I'm on right now is coolors.co. Really nice, kind of intuitive, flowy way to pick a palette. And I really like these three central colors here. We get a nice range of cool and warm tones and some good contrasts, as well as some tonal range in terms of, this middle one being much lighter than the other two. So that'll give me some good opportunities for contrast in my image. I'm going to export these and bring them into Photoshop. Okay, next step is to bring in my sketch layer. I've done this on paper. Again, you could do this as a digital layer. Either way is totally fine. So I'm here in Photoshop. I'm going to go ahead and start a new file. And I'm just going to use the default 5 inches by 7 inches in 300 pixels per inch resolution. The one thing I want to change is the orientation. So I'd like this to be a portrait orientation that matches the orientation of my sketch. I also want to set the color profile. And I like to use Adobe RGB or ProPhoto RGB. Those are going to give me the widest range of gamut. And everything else I can just leave on the default. Go ahead and click Create. All right, now let's get our sketch layer in here. So I've already got my scanner hooked up. I am going to go ahead to the File menu, click on Import Images from Device. Let's see, and let's get rid of this brush palette. Oops, let's try that one more time. There we go. So this is pretty much what I want. I want to go ahead and click and drag. And I want to adjust the size just to make sure that it's going to be at least 5 inches by 7 inches. So this is a good size. So my sheet of paper is a little bit bigger than my document in Photoshop. That's fine. That's great. We can always size stuff down really easily, not have to worry about distortion or pixelation. So 300 dots per inch on the scan should be plenty. I'm doing millions of colors, and I'd like to create a new layer in my frontmost Photoshop document. So this is just going to copy it right into my Photoshop document. So I don't really have to worry about any of the format or the location where this is saving. So go ahead and click Scan. Okay, so I've got my scan in here. It is layer 1 in my layers palette. I'm just going to label this and also lock it down. Let's go ahead and get our swatches panel up and import the color palette that I exported from the web tool earlier. So from that swatches panel menu, let's go ahead and import swatches. Okay, so here we go. I'm actually going to go ahead and delete some of these that I don't want. Really, it's the magenta, the light blue, and then the sort of bluey green. All the rest were just sort of extra that came along with that palette. So I'm just holding down Command and clicking on the ones that I don't want, and I will delete those. Maybe let's give this a better name. Okay, so I'm going to dock this right alongside my panel, so I've got it right here. I can always just jump back to any one of those colors. So I'm going to go ahead and start painting here. I'm probably not going to talk through much of what I'm doing, but the good news is there's no really right or wrong way to do this. So there's lots of different styles and approaches that are open to you, from something that's very graphic and abstract, something that's very realistic, really just depending on how skilled you are with painting techniques. And in any case, this is a great place to practice. And so I'm just looking for something with a little bit of texture here. I'm going to go fairly large. Oops, so we need to make our new layer. I'm going to call this one my base. And I'm going to use this to just sort of rough out what the structure of this portrait's going to be like. All right, so it's been about an hour here of working on this self-portrait. I'm fairly happy with it. There's definitely things that I would want to change or continue developing. I think maybe a little bit more color mixing in the hair areas would be nice. Fleshing out, maybe a neck and shoulders, as well as maybe adding some additional elements or working on the background a little bit more. But that's part of the point of this assignment, is to make this a concise experience and not try to overwork things too much. So I'm sort of leaving this process here, with the knowledge that it's like I could come back to this. I could sort of take some of those ideas that I might be aspiring for and work them into future projects. So there's our demo of the Digital Painting Fearlessly assignment.